Hi, everybody. My name is Rob Gordon, and this is our third virtual co-working session for entrepreneurs. This is something that kind of came out of the blue a couple weeks ago. We had a hangout that went really well, where we started the idea of virtual co-working and had a really interesting public conversation, and then an even better private conversation. So what I decided really, I think is going to work is to have these hybrid public-private HOAs or hangouts, where we don't make a huge big deal about the public hangout, or we don't make a huge big deal about the private one either. But basically, we try to be a little bit more respectful of the viewer's time on the public HOA. So we're going to kind of present our business, a little bit about what we're doing, the challenges we're having, people we might want to meet. We give each other 5 minutes each if we need that. You can share screens if you want. Just talk a little bit. I don't care if the public HOA is just really short. If it's only, 5 or 10 minutes. And then we go into a kind of an anything goes private section. So private hangout. So basically what we're doing is just acknowledging what happens anyway. People do act a little bit different in the public HOAs than they do in the private. You might want to vent about some customer problem you're having in the private. You might want to talk more in detail about special challenges you're having, things that frustrate you. We can strategize about strategy, kind of whatever we want. Again, I guess the way I think about this a little bit, it's like a gym membership. I've heard that if you go to a gym and you haven't been to the gym in a while to work out, and all of a sudden you work out for 2 hours, you probably won't go the next time. But if we keep these meetings under, the public part under 20 minutes, the private part maybe, 20 minutes or so, or whatever we want it to be, then you'll go the next time. We'll gradually know more about what each other is doing, and maybe we're going to find ways to cooperate. We're not going to push that. If it happens naturally, that's great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. Today, we had 4 people commit fairly firmly. One of them wrote me that she had family emergency and couldn't make it. So I have my longtime online friend, Debbie. Debbie, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Why don't you jump in here and just say hello and tell us where you are, which is certainly interesting, and what you're up to.
Hi, my name is Debbie Vottelin. It is hyphenated because I married a Swedish guy whose last name is Tellin. I live in Sweden now. I am American, but I've been in Sweden now for 12 years. 12 years. And we do subtitling and translation for Swedish television and movies. And this is because Sweden subtitles all of their television shows. We have just had somebody come in. Is that Joe?
Yeah, hi, Joe.
Oh my gosh, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sure can.
Oh, okay. Well, I could turn on I have like no makeup or anything. I was trying to get on and I couldn't figure this out. I'm so sorry. I kept on trying.
Don't worry about it, Joe. I was just talking to Debbie about that, and to tell you the truth, technical glitches are the rule, not the exception on these things.
Okay.
We can see you fine now. So
okay.
We're just doing. We're not talking a lot about our business now. We're just kind of introducing ourselves. So why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay.
Tell us where you are, and then we'll go briefly into a little bit about business. But
okay. And apologies, I have been trying since 11:30 to get on here because I had never done it. So I was like, I don't get this. Okay, so my name is Joe Guerra, and nobody in Denver can say it. I'm from the Denver area, and originally from Texas, and my company is Kick A Marketing. And although my website doesn't represent it right now because I'm so behind on my own work, my major thing right now is actually doing websites. And I'm getting ready to actually do like a big proposal for a school here in town, like a technical school. So that's a big thing right now for me. So
well, cool. Is it Kick A Marketing or is it Kick Ass Marketing?
I never say ass, but it's insinuated.
It's insinuated. So the actual typed out name is Kick and Marketing.
Kick-ass marketing, yeah.
I think it'd be kind of bold to call it kick-ass marketing.
Well, it wasn't available, actually. I did look.
Oh, so that's too funny. That's too
Oh my
funny.
God, this is hard. I've never done anything like this.
Yeah, it is fun. I'm going to introduce myself now. My name is Rob Gordon. I live in San Diego, California. I am self-employed, and I get a lot of challenges to business.
I'm going to have to come back in. There's something wrong with my sound.
I can hear it, but why don't we just not worry about it? You can mute your.
I'm still hearing myself previously. Let me try again.
Okay.
Technical glitches.
We'll probably never see her again. It's okay. Okay. Well, anyway, that's about me. Actually, I will go in and talk about my business a little bit. And I'm long-winded, so I talk about, making these videos short. I'm going to be a guilty culprit. So if I go over, I won't go over my 5 minutes. What I have to say is pretty short. A lot of people have a hard time understanding me. And I get that, they go, what do you do anyway, Rob? People know that I write, and people know that I do project management. And a number of people have told me this, and they're sincere people that care about me, so I have to listen to them. The way to understand me, Rob, is there's two Robs. There's the pragmatic, real world Rob, and then there's the dreamer Rob. And I've got projects in both of them. So let me talk first. I might even not do a screen share. I might just talk. The pragmatic, real world Rob needs freelance marketing, needs freelance business contracts. I'm emphasizing the project management and technical writing or content writing. I've had a lot of good luck with this offer I put on Google Plus and on Craigslist for 10 hours of professional services for $250. Now, a lot of people kind of said, oh God, that's so low. It is low. It's basically my best and final offer, but you definitely get me for doing that. And I'd be happy, anybody listening, I'll be happy to send you that offer. We can talk about it all you want. That is working for me. I'm not getting enough clients, but I'm getting some, which is a good sign. So, what I'm going to want to talk about in the private section, and anybody who wants to contact me, is a little bit about how to better market that. I'm doing it. I don't think I can do it too much more on Google Plus. Gotten good clients for it on Google Plus. Interesting people in industries I probably never would have worked in. I'm doing also on Craigslist, and I'm getting some colorful characters, to say the least. One guy, but not a lot, not enough. One guy, a few days, about a week ago, just literally sent me money out of the blue, and he's talked to me a few times. I'm not even sure what he wants me to do exactly. Well, I do. I think he wants me to ghostwrite a book, but he's kind of saying things like, I'm not a criminal. And so it's like, I don't know what I'm going to find for that. But he paid, without complaining, paid up front. So anyway, I do want to develop that as a practice and figure out how to get more people in. So I've got that. So also on the pragmatic side, I have a website Denise Duquette helped me build. Is she coming in? I sent her an invitation. I put it on the domain name action1.co. That's action, the number 1.co. But it needs work. I just seem to not be able to find the time to do that. So I need to market myself that way. What else on the pragmatic side? I want to do my LinkedIn profile. So that's like, anybody questions me, like, here's my complete history. So that's a project underway. Now on the dreamer side, Debbie, am I hitting my 5 minutes yet, or am I just rambling? I can't hear you. You muted yourself. Unmute. Do I unmute you? Debbie, we can hear you, but we cannot hear you. Debbie, we can't hear you.
That's because I muted my microphone.
There you go. Now we can hear you. I was just asking if I was rambling too much.
You're fine. You go right ahead and ramble, because I'm going to send the link to Denise And in order to handle that quietly, you just
Okay.
go ahead and ramble for a little longer.
Well, I'm not going to ramble too long. I'm just going to do another minute or two. So let me talk a little bit about Dreamer Wrap now. Maybe I will do a screen share. Should I brisk it? I have a web portal that's just been around forever. It's called World Startups. Let's see. Screen share. And if I go away, it's all yours. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to go into infinite loop if I share this. Well, let me try. Do you ever do that? You share your own video and then you go, it wigs out.
Oh, yeah.
So this, I'm not going to go too much into this, except this is a piece of open source software that was actually originally a dating site. It was originally American startups. It was built in reaction to a Obama administration program called Startup America that was a disaster.
I believe I joined that at the time.
Yeah. So that you're probably in this. A lot of people, it's too long. But I think with what, you know, I've done some integrating with the community, Google communities. You know, Entrepreneurs Communities has almost 70,000 members now. That number doesn't mean what we think it does. Google is very tight with the members we have. I've got the Connect with Google, which is pretty cool. I've got this startups page. I need to know how to manage this as a community, manage and grow this as a community. I've been looking for partners forever on this. Never found one for one reason or another. I'd love to, one of the 3 questions I'm going to want people to ask, I think I mentioned, current projects and ventures, the challenges you're having, and who you'd like to meet or what help you'd like. So one of the things for me would be, you know, an open source, maybe a PHP developer with good open source integration. I'd like to really do the integration with Google thing. So that's all I'm going to mention about that. I just want you to be aware that that's there. Feel free to register for it. I do collect a lot of information on the register, what your industry is, much more information than we get from the entrepreneurs community. The second one I'm just going to mention in passing. I'm going to unscreen share if I can find myself here. I just want to mention in passing. Okay, stop. Screen sharing, stop. I hope that didn't kick me off. You know, Google recently did this this interest-based thing where we have collections. I have had the idea for a long time for what's called a peer-to-peer. I'm getting the feedback now too. We'll just not worry about it.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay, I've been struggling. I was trying to talk and I couldn't hear. Y'all couldn't hear me, so I came back in.
Okay. Well,
Let's not
dwell on technical glitches because they do happen.
Okay.
Like I said, the rule rather than the exception. I was just finishing up and saying that I've got an idea. It's one of these things that's either world-changing or it's total nonsense. But it's a peer-to-peer, I guess the best way to describe it would be a peer-to-peer contact management system or customer relationship management. And it takes advantage of a little-known feature in web browsers, especially Chrome, called WebRTC. I think there's a way to build a way to share contacts better, a way to even have better a peer-to-peer social networking, which people have talked about as kind of a holy grail forever, and no one's ever pulled off. So I would like to talk to a good developer about that. Somebody would give me like 15 minutes of their time, especially if you know WebRTC. So that's going to be my pitch. I've got a bunch of other crazy schemes, but I don't want to hog this time. So let's move on. Let's go. Hi, Debbie. I mean, Denise. Hi, Denise.
That's Denise.
Denise is here. She's gonna wave to us. Okay, we're gonna go to Joe. And Joe, don't freak out about technical glitches if the sound's not perfect. But why don't you tell us a little bit about your business, your current projects and ventures, challenges, and who you'd like to meet or help you meet. Why don't you take the
What was the last thing? I'm sorry. What was the last
who you would like to meet, or any kind of help you would need.
Oh,
But
okay.
just talk. Don't worry about the rules.
Okay. Well, projects I have. I can hear myself. Okay. Projects I've got quite a few websites that are going on right now. And as I mentioned when I first got on here, I have a big proposal for a school, and it will, if I do get this, and it's more of a whole marketing project for them, which has been a lot of work, and I haven't even done the presentation part, just doing all the background. So this is going to be like my first huge proposal. I've worked with a lot of different smaller ventures or companies, but this is going to be like something that's probably going to be like a 3 to 5 year project. So as far as who I need to meet, I've actually been working with an organization here in town that helps you work with government contracts. And she's been extremely helpful, but I'm not, great at, am I doing the proposal the right way? Am I not doing it the right way? So that's my business part of it. And like you were saying, you're crazy or whatever side of things. My favorite thing to do is, well, first of all, I wanted to say also too, I need to redo my LinkedIn profile as well. So maybe we can challenge each other, to do that.
That'd be a good thing to work on co-working.
Yeah.
Maybe not this session, but that would be a really let's look at it, because I'm not real good at LinkedIn, but that is the standard place for your professional credentials. And I heard one woman, Heather couldn't be here, but she gave me an awesome video once of somebody who specializes in LinkedIn marketing, and it was one of these things with an expiration, like you had to watch it within the 2 hours. It was just very, very good on how to do. And this woman says she doesn't even have a website. She talks to people, and she just sends them her complete LinkedIn profile. And LinkedIn is a challenge for self-employed people because it made me look flaky. And she helped me because she made me realize that, use your employment thing as case studies. Don't do it traditional jobs. But anyway, I'm taking your time. So go ahead.
Good. I mean, I know I've done LinkedIn profiles for people, and what I try to do when I do them is I try to get to the heart of their story. Their why, and then I pepper in a lot of keywords as well. But of course, I do that research for them. But for me, I haven't done it, of course. So, and mine is so, it's got social media. I mean, that's part of my services, but I don't do social media for people. It's more about just encompassing everything. So it's really, it needs to be redone, and it's on my things of open loops over here. Board. I've got like 3 boards here that I work with all the time.
I've got a tiny whiteboard over here. I need a bigger one.
I've got 3 of them. Costco.
I wish my whole apartment was covered with whiteboard.
I know. I've got 3 in my office. Yeah. So I've got a lot of little open loops. Then I worked on one last night, but this project is a big thing, and then I just got 3 jobs that have been coming, have been in the pipeline, and I just got all 3 of them like this week. So that's going to be a big thing too, just trying to organize everything. So I think that's a challenge for me, really, is the organization of everything and how I schedule things and how I don't drive myself crazy because I want to get everything done right now, and I can't.
That's one of my issues too, and maybe we can talk about that during the private section. But how I do the client work and the marketing at the same time. There's just one of me, and I'm having some real challenges. I'm gonna we can come back to you, Joe, both do some cross talking and in the private section. I want to move on to Debbie. Debbie, you did all your talking during our pre-hangout, so why don't you reintroduce yourself and a little bit about your business, because it is fascinating.
Okay. Debbie, I'm an American, but I'm living in Sweden. I'm married to a Swedish guy, and our work is subtitles and translation for Swedish television and movies. Wow. And we go both directions. Sweden subtitles everything, and so things that are done in English or French or German has to be subtitled into Swedish, and he does the English to Swedish. Also, things that go out, the Swedish movies that go elsewhere, need to be subtitled for other markets, and so we do the Swedish into English there. We currently are working on a lovely large project which is translating scripts that will be made into a television series. We just finished one set, and we just got a new one to get started with. And along with all of this, we are changing our focus. We are going to go into a different location. We are moving to Berlin, hopefully within...
How exciting, really. I love Berlin.
And then, along with that, you can see behind me on the wall, that's one of John's prints. He has become a professional photographer. He has sold prints. We are going into the gallery side of things as well. And on top of that, there's also some fashion things getting started. And I can't really talk too much about those. Those are his specifically. But there are challenges with each of these things. There are challenges with finding, anytime we work with our media work, we have to have producers and clients who are willing to talk with us about the translation and what is really meant by what's being said. With the artwork, finding the gallery, finding who should be on the list of invitees when you have artwork go up, because who are you going to sell to? The fashion side of it, I do know that what we want to do is completely fair trade. One of the things that we are looking into is how do you follow from the plant of cotton into a final product and make sure that everybody is handled properly along the way. It's a huge undertaking. It is a huge process. And so right now we're still trying to decide who is it we need to talk to.
I missed something there. What was the cotton for? What, you said cotton. You're following the supply chain? I missed the...
We want to follow the supply chain all the way back from the item that you wear all the way back to the plant it starts from.
Wow.
That is...
But is this for your products, or is this a general service?
For our products. We are going to start a new line.
A clothing line?
A clothing line.
How cool is that? Wow.
We're turning things around once again. When this company first started, all we did was teach people how to use their computers, and we have gone through quite a changes in 15 years. So now our next step is coming.
Okay.
That's nice.
I'm going to move to Denise, but any specific kind of people you want to meet or challenges for people who aren't in the room that might be listening to this?
Anybody in the Berlin area who understands how to do taxes, please contact me.
Okay. Berliner's tax professionals. Let's move on to my friend and associate Denise Duquette, who almost needs no introduction, but I'll let her introduce herself. Denise, how's life in Vermont? What are you up to? Please introduce yourself, Denise.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm Denise Duquette. I'm the owner of Out of the Office Virtual Assistants. I do live here in Vermont, where today it's actually warm. Yesterday I was wearing my thermies because it wasn't. I've been a virtual assistant for almost 10 years now and love what I do. I have exciting news. I recently spoke at the IVAA, or the International Virtual Assistant Association Live Summit, which was an in-person conference in Myrtle Beach back in the first week of May. I got all of the feedback from our presentation, and mostly 5s, a couple of 4s, but overall it was a very well received talk and got lots of fabulous "let's do that again" kind of feedback, so that was great. And right now we are working on a new fun thing. We're going to be hosting an assistant retreat in the Smoky Mountains this fall.
Oh, God. That sounds fun.
Where is it? I'm sorry.
Yep, it's going to... I'm sorry?
Where is it?
It's going to be in the Smoky Mountains.
Okay.
outside of Bryson City, North Carolina. And as much as I'd like to call it what I want to, everybody has said I can't call it Smoky Mountain High because too much of my hippie attitude might give people the wrong impression. That's what I'm working on. And now I'm just doing some other behind-the-scenes stuff where some public information kind of stuff. But the retreat is going to be really fun. It was a brainchild that we basically came up with on Monday afternoon, and by the time I went to bed Monday night around midnight, it was 90% on paper. So I'm really excited about that.
Okay, and Denise, challenges you're having with your business, if any. You seem like you don't have challenges. You probably do. And the kind of people you'd like to meet.
Right now, my biggest challenge, I can't say on camera, okay. and I will be glad to explain that off camera. But yeah, we've got some challenges that we need to that I need to work on. Right now, my biggest, it's not really a business challenge, is I swear every Monday when I come into the office, I'm seeing posts, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn or Google Plus, about plagiarism, and it's kind of really gnawing at me, the amount of rampant plagiarism that's out there, and I have no idea how to fix it or change it or even protect myself from it, and I'm kind of like struggling with that whole nastiness. And for those of you who don't know me, they know. For those who do know me, you know I don't like to dwell on the negative. I'm a very positive person. And so having to actually immerse myself in that negativity is very difficult. And I'm always, as far as what I want to get out of the co-working, you know, I like to talk to new people, see what they're doing, what's interesting, what they find cool, interesting, curious. And you know, if you ever need help or brainstorm or, you know, anything like that, that's what I'm here for.
Awesome. We're going to take you up on that. The comment you made about, you know, not wanting to be negative, I get that. But I think sometimes you have to be. You know, if something's bugging you, you know, even if you're negative, sometimes you have to take it on. I'm not this believer that you have to always be the Pollyanna type. I think that's, you know, you mentioned that before. That's a cause you care about. I don't get plagiarism. I don't get why anybody would want to. You know, why would you put your name on something someone else did? I just don't get it. But you think it's a big problem. Huh? You're seeing it a lot.
It's gotten to the point where I've actually started over the past couple of weeks doing like quick little video tips of the day, and I did one the end of last week, I think it was, or early this week. I don't know. The days just kind of are all together now, but I basically said, you know, hey, if you're too lazy to write your own content and all you are in it to do is make a quick buck, leave the industry. You make us look bad. And I got a lot of flack from it, but that's the thing, you know, there are people who are literally going and buying professional mentor packages from people, then taking the content, taking out said person's name and putting in their name, and then reselling it and doing a chargeback on their credit card so they don't even have to pay for the stuff that they stole. Okay. And that bothers me. It's just not right.
Yeah, that's just outright criminal. That's, you know, if you're doing the chargeback on your credit card especially. I lost the sound. Denise, I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry.
Sure.
How do you mute? I don't even know. Oh.
If you drag your mouse up to the top of the screen, it appears, and then there's a little person, and right next to that there's a little microphone. You click that, you can mute. So if your phone goes off or something like that.
Oh, I see.
Go ahead, Denise.
Okay. So yeah, it's just you know, for me, it kind of eats away at me, and it makes me crankier. And I just don't like to, you know, I like to see the best in people, and I'm always about moving forwards. So it's really hard for me to go there, and it's just becoming, you know, literally I come in every morning and I'll see a post that, oh, so-and-so from so-and-so blah blah has stole a blog post verbatim that I wrote 2 years ago, or, you know, just all of that, and you know, we're a quirky, we're not a new industry, but we're not a common mainstream industry. And when you have, it was bad enough when it was foreign market labor that was demeaning the industry, but now you've got it internally in first world countries. I work really hard to earn my money. I don't need someone to disparage my industry. And they're just doing it, and it makes me cranky.
Okay.
Anyway.
Look, got a cause, and we'll talk about that. I think we're going to wind down the public part of this hangout. Does anyone have anything else they want to say publicly? Just, I don't think this video is going to get massive amount of audience or anything, but you never know. Anything else you want to just? You're muted.
I just have one thing to add, Rob. And I'm listening to Denise talk about plagiarism and things being taken from her, and that applies in almost every industry I've seen so far. It's not just one thing. It's not just those who write or those who take pictures or those who make a bowl. It's nearly every industry fights this. And so if anybody who is listening now has any clues for us, that kind of input would be well received by the entrepreneurial community. How do we protect ourselves aside from getting, high-priced lawyers on retainer that we can't afford?
Yeah, that might have been almost the subject for a show-type hangout where we talk about it. Because there is a thing called competitive benchmarking, and I do this when I'm working on some new venture, and you should. One of the early things you do is you should look at every single person in your space and look at every feature they have and decide how you can do it better or not do it at all or whatever. So there's a difference between copying and looking at the competitive marketplace, but I get what you're saying. Other thoughts, points?
No, but before you do the private thing, I don't know how to do that. Do I just stay on there?
You don't have to. You just stay. You just don't do anything.
Okay.
There's a little button that says stop broadcast here.
Okay.
And I'm going to stop. But other public comments before we close?
Thanks for having it, Rob.
Yes.
Don't say goodbye yet. We're still talking. This is just the public part. What I wanted to say is this probably went a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but that's okay. But we're going to do these more frequently. I will help host them. I'll do a couple a week if people want. As soon as we get 3 people interested, then we can go ahead and schedule. And I think getting at least 1 new person each time would be good. So we're constantly getting new blood. So, if Denise and I do one or Debbie and I do one, then we try to get 1 other new person that hasn't done it. But if we get 4, I'm kind of thinking the maximum is 6 for this. Otherwise, I'll go too long. So if you're interested in participating in this, I'm calling it the summer program here, summer co-working program. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot less stressful than your normal hangouts. Normal hangouts, when you put on a show, that's a big energy suck. But this, I'm thinking, can be more informal. We can just schedule. I am going to ask that people keep their scheduling commitments, especially if you're not for watching, but if you agree to come in. But let's start scheduling more. So if you're hearing this, contact me, and we'll start talking about it a little bit more. But anyway, don't leave if you're in the room. We're going to end the public broadcasting now. If you're listening, thank you for listening. This has been the I gotta get a name for it. The Entrepreneurs Virtual Co-working Program, sponsored by World Startups and the Entrepreneurs, Small Business, and Self-Employment Community of Google+. Boy, that's a mouthful. I'm going to have to come up with something more of a marketing zinger for that. But thank you for joining us. Hang with us if you're in the room, but this is the end of the public session of the co-working session. Thank you, everyone.